Hey Mallory, if there's more than 4 things wrong, I reach out to you via video. At first, you may be annoyed to hear from me, but as you go along, you'll hear from me less and less probably. But today we're here talking about preprints, and that is what your object is. And that's going to require a different type of thing. I did not tell you not to use preprints. It's not in my rubric. It's not in my instructions. So this is important. If you are using a preprint, and even if it's not mentioned, there may be an assumption you would know not to use it, though I believe with post-COVID, that's changed a little bit because you want to get information out fast, you want to be ahead of the game, you want to have a time step, you want to be quoted a lot because citation is the blood of an academic. So you could make arguments for and against a preprint. And that's not my job on this particular thing. It's yours. It's a critical thinking piece you have dug up, whether you wanted to or not. So what is this Tech RXIV? Usually you can find it about at the top or at the bottom. Sometimes the little logo will give it. And this is, oh, look at it. It tells me how to pronounce it. Text Archive. Okay, Tech Archive is an open moderated preprint server for unpublished research in the areas of engineering, computer science, and related technology. So this is a preprint. We will have to cite it as a preprint. It's not an article that's gone through the peer review process. It's not been published in the typical way. Also understand it is not typical times, but there's some other things about this article I find fascinating. It would be the best possible thing for Module 6 where we're doing evaluation. And while we're talking, I'm going to talk about the whole thing because I want you to know what it is you found and whether or not you'll use it. Your annotation in the final project in the end could be about why or why not you decide to use a thing. You could do either, as long as you present the reasons why. And that's fine. It is your critical thinking piece. So we can see this has this title. And what happens with APA, you do not present something as it appears. You present it as it should be. So your APA reference list is alike. Certain things go for capitalization. You have rules. In APA, nothing is capitalized in the title except for the first word, a word that follows a colon, and a proper noun or noun phrase. Here, this means how, the H is capitalized. ChatGPT here and here is a proper noun phrase, and this follows a colon, so the U is capitalized. All these other things are not. And what this is doing is bringing your diverse things you find into an order that is APA style. And it is beautiful. When you see your final project, I believe, Mallory, you will weep. But we'll find out. That thing noises me hitting my wood necklace. Sorry about that. I do love some big necklaces. So this gives you the preprint timeline. And it was published. We don't believe it's been published yet. APA says specifically you should try to find the published piece, but like I said, times have changed. People consider things in different ways, and this is your critical thinking piece should you choose to take it on. This is going to give you a citation, but it does not tell you which type it is. Giving it a look, it's almost like MLA. In APA, you use the last name with a first initial, and they're connected with an ampersand. We know now that this title capitalization is wrong. Nothing in APA is capitalized except for the first letter, a word that follows a colon, and a proper noun or noun phrase. This has this in italics, which is not how you cite a preprint, and the publication date would have followed the authors. So the only thing useful here for us is the DOI number, because that is something we do need. When you have a choice between a URL or a DOI in APA style, you choose the digital object identifier. If you have a URL, not a DOI. You only use the URL if everyone can get to it. So when you're using our databases like ProQuest or Opposing Viewpoints, I think you also have to look at, you don't use a URL, and you only use a digital object identifier if one's there. So you would just leave the space blank. So let's give a look about what a preprint would look like. So I went to APA style. This is the guidelines that I use for everything. When you see these references, a lot of times I have to guess what you'll find. I did not guess you would find a preprint. And again, I did not tell you not to use it. So you can use this. It's my failure. But honestly, is it a failure? Because you're about to learn something today. So if we were doing a regular journal, it would definitely look like this. Multiple names, ampersand, period, publication date in parentheses, period. But this part is different. The title is italicized because in a way it's placeless. Is the best way I can explain it to you. It has not found a place. This is not really a publisher of complete works. So this is a lot like our archive that we found, except it's the psychive, I think is how we're going with this. And so it is not italicized, and then you end with this, the HTTPS. And we're going to steal this for later use because we need to put it in front of your DOI. So we have, usually underneath here is an awesome explanation, especially for social media, but for this it's a little weak, I will say. So I hope my explanation works for you. This is the model, and this is some explanations, but I would call it inadequate, frankly. So that's part of what we run into. What's in the book might be better, but I wanted to save you guys some money. I wasn't sure you would do APA forever. So I'm using this particular guideline and discussing it with you as you go along. Now, how would you have figured that out? The APA style does have a little search thing. So had you known it was a preprint and you notice we didn't have that, you would have gone here. And it's the first piece. So this does have reference styles you could search if you knew about them. But this is the link that I give you, and I gave you journal, article, and under here they have article with article number, missing information, which isn't quite this. Let's see if it is there accidentally retracted. We'll talk about those quite a bit later on. An abstract, if you're just using the abstract, not the full text, and monographs, which may be something like, no, it's an issue number here, and only online supplemental. Let's look for missing information, just in case. Missing issue number, page, or article. No, it doesn't cover. So journal article references covers a great deal of things, but not a particular item you found. This is why I try to do this course personally, so that we can learn when we go along. And I hope you're finding this as exciting as I am, because I'm about to show you something, and I was laughing hysterically. Okay, when I'm laughing hysterically, it is not about you, okay? Because I love when I see things like this. Okay, so we're here, and we see this triple threat, the triple AI threat. Are they great? Are they mediocre? We don't know. So it was cited one time, which frankly is pretty good from 2024 to have one site. So I'm going to go into the site like, this is cited 12 times. Hey, is it the triple threat again? Look at this. All right, so they're aggressively self-citing. Like when you go into these, look who it is. It's the triple threat of AI. And frankly, they may be. Not my call on this particular thing. But this might be a problem. This is a pre-published, but it might be that this group really wants to get out there? I don't know. So we have a group that's publishing a great deal in pre-publishing preprints, and they're citing themselves aggressively. And again, while self-citation during your academic period may be considered a form of plagiarism, in the real world of academia and science, you self-cite all the time. It's called building on your work, right? And I'm sure you've seen this before, or probably have. You definitely will in this class. So this is kind of how these people are. And this is not what you asked me. Did you get the part where I go down the rabbit hole sometimes? Yes, I do. So let's figure out how we're going to cite this piece and what the extra pieces are. I see that one's DOI, but I'm not sure where you got the one, but I'm going to find out. Okay, I can't find the one anywhere yet. Google Scholar itself does have a citation suggestion. It's not always right, but I sometimes look at it because it might have a DOI or some other thing that would be easier to copy and paste. Like here, this APA, the way it put together the authors is more correct than yours. It has the ampersand. You totally have this right. This N, yours have the incorrect capitalization on the title. This would then, it looks like Authoria preprints is a platform, kind of like something you put pages on. So your Tech RX archive is correct. The one I can't find, the 10.3667 in parentheses, is actually part of the DOI number. And then we have to fight between the DOI and the URL, and the DOI wins, and we're going to put https://doi.org in front of it. So I'm going to copy this, take it into Word, and I'm going to go through how to fix it. These are the changes to make to your work. So this is a string of authors. Before the last author, you'll put an ampersand. That's a shift 5 ampersand. You'll put it there. It will have a comma in front of it. APA style loves an Oxford comma. That's the comma before and the conjunction and the ampersand. Now this is the part where this is excellent, and of course your last name, first initials are beautifully done as well. Now we know that this is not capitalized, that is capitalized, this is not. I'm going to take you through the whole painful piece. There may or may not be another. I know there's a cap up and down, but I'm not sure it can fix this. But if you have advanced usage capabilities, please use those. We know understanding is capitalized. This isn't capitalized. This is not capitalized. Period. Now, if we remember, the journal references for preprint is different. In the real world, your publication name for journal articles, newspapers, and magazines are italicized. But this isn't really published. It's uploaded to a source. So it's almost combining itself as a web page to some degree. So we're going to italicize this, but not that. And we're going to end this with a period. I couldn't find the one. If you do see it, let me know, and I'll go to try to figure out what it is. We do know that this 10.367, that's actually part of the DOI. So let's get rid of that. And you can see, actually, it's very clean and beautiful looking. Now this, we have a war between this, and the DOI number wins. And now this is the kind of the old way of saying it, and even though it's a 2024, I see this V1. I would just leave it in the DOI number. That will be close enough. So what I want to do is go back to your module. I had this here. I can remember, I don't know how you feel about code or URLs, and then we're going to have to get rid of the space. I'm taking you through the whole painful thing because it is at first. Okay, so it got rid of that. So, and this is how it should appear. It's very clean. So the idea of citation styles is you take things that look very different, have these capital things, this, that, and the other things that may be different, and for your works cited reference page, you want them to have some similarity. We know we're always going to find the author. We're always going to find something like a publication date, unless there's not one, and it's parentheses, N period, D period, in parentheses, period. And I will say that a lot. Usually when you're working at an academic level, not having a publication date is kind of like, but a lot of times you might use websites and other things that have that. So that was what you would use. I'm just telling you this, you will not remember it, but you will remember there's something about that and know to look for it. And we fixed the capitalization. Nothing is capitalized in APA titles except for the first word, a word after a colon, and a proper noun or noun phrase. Tech, this is where it's inside of. It's not a journal specifically, so we're treating it in this preprint fashion, and we're ending it with this. And I think that's where we'll keep the 1. And I think it makes sense. Do you feel that? And when you reach these things and have these questions, it's okay to ask the Writing Center, the librarian, or your professor. Like, you don't have to know this. And you will reflect, you will use, of course, the page. If you have the book, use that. But you can also use support services. You don't have to go it alone. But I hope you enjoyed this piece. Now let's go back to your item. Now this was more than 4 things. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so this is more than 4 things. So in this case, I will give you a 50%. Now this is 100% work. I just want you to fix it, because this, when you correct it and upload it here, will be what you copy and paste and use in your final project, and you already know it's fixed. Okay, now let's look at your annotation quickly. This piece should be more specific and say this preprint is about exploring the uses of AI. It provides examples of what researchers try to do with AI and found it works and when it struggles. Yeah, it's sort of an overview of other people's work, which is a type of scholarly article that has some value. It's not a scholarly research article. It's neither quantitative or qualitative. It's just a scholarly piece of literature that falls under perhaps a review. So if you have a professor that wants a scholarly research article, this particular piece will not fit. For this particular assignment, it does. So thank you for reaching that. I'm going to put these little details over in this set. Oh, let me move this over. Sorry. I will put the details, the outline of what to change here. Then I will go up here with rubric. And I want you to feel uncomfortable. Like you said, you weren't comfortable with this. Uncomfortable is a good feeling. Nothing here, almost nothing here, you're not going to end up getting 100 on. And I hope you walk away with other things. So your format is beautiful. And this is how I grade. And a lot of people grade using the rubric. They have it set up. And you should love this because it kind of, I like to say, you can't grade by mood swing with it. It's actually a number and a thing, an idea. So your source is good because even though I didn't tell you not to get a preprint. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but question it if you're in the future, if that's allowed before you put time into it for another person. And this may not come up for another 3 years, but just in case. Keywords. Awesome. Research question. I want it to be a statement, but right now, 3 sentences, like 1 sentence, right now 3 sentences is perfect. We kind of see what you're working. Your annotation needs 1 change. So I will take 0.5 off of that. And your APA was pretty close, but you had about 4 things wrong. 4, I used 2. So this would be your score if you do not update it. At the end of the course, I will go, if you haven't revised it, and I hope you do because it's your final project, I will give you this score. The 50% is just to get your attention. It's not an assessment of your work. I have no reason to believe there's any reason in this world you would have found this preprint piece or had a discussion about a preprint and how it fits into this particular work, and how if you use it, you will explain in the annotation why you might. And with the 2 sentences, you would have started that conversation. So what I would like to see you do is just fix this little baby. And this presentation has been longer than how long it's going to take to fix it. I apologize. You're going to turn this preprint is about, and that's what you would need for this. This and this. Everything else is gorgeous. Anyway, Mallory, I hope you enjoyed spending your 20, or if you put me on 1.5, 15 minutes with me today. I apologize that I did want to take up your time, but I'd like to have a conversation with you. You can see how I look at things, how I go around. You'll see my little library mind working. And I especially don't want you to worry about how did you put this. I'm not sure I cited my source right. That should be kind of your feeling for about the next 4 weeks, and that's okay. You see how we go over it. And as time goes on, it'll get less and less, but we're trying different things like social media and citing YouTube. So every week you're going to learn a few different things and how to use the model and where the models are. And if you're totally perplexed, do not lose time and simply ask me how to look at it. I will be glad to break it down for you. Not feeling sure is the right spot. These are not errors. These are learning things. Now I'm going to go to 22 minutes. I'm so sorry. But anyway, I hope this helps. I hope you like this kind of interaction. And as always, if I've spoken too long, please go to YouTube. In settings, you can speed me up like a chipmunk. I hope you have the best week, Mallory.